I'm interested, Jim, in to hear your tactics to win this, to preempt this civil war, because I think of it as a long-term game with the Chinese, an 80-year plan to subvert our culture by feeding things to our children. So I'm kind of thinking in that same realm. Like, I don't want to go head at it because that's what they want me to do. They want me to come straight at them so they can ban me for some stuff.
You have to do some of that. But first of all, I'll say one of the first things you should do, make comedy shows.
Yes. Right.
Make our culture popular. Because right now, they're the authoritarian jerks that nobody likes. We're the cool kids. So let's be the cool kids. Let's make good movies. Ben Shapiro's people, The Daily Wire, that Run, Hide, Shoot movie was a great movie. And not a great movie by conservatives. It was a great action flick. And that chick was can I say bad?
Yeah, you can say that.
I can say badass. I don't want to get you thrown off. She was a badass. It was a great movie. I was on the edge of my seat. Infidel by Dinesh D'Souza.
Yes.
Another great movie, not great movie by a conservative. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And it was an action flick. Jim Caviezel in a prison getting rescued.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that
Wife
movie,
comes in with a helicopter. It was badass. Your comedy show, I guarantee, is going to be badass because you wouldn't make it otherwise. You wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't going to be.
Some of these comics, I'm just like, oh, these guys, they push it so hard.
Good.
Right.
That's punk
George
rock.
Carlin.
That's punk rock.
George Carlin got arrested for his bit, the 7 words you can't say on TV. He got arrested for that.
Amazing.
They don't do that today, but they'll ban you in a
skipped
straight
school
life.
to go see George Carlin.
Wow.
Literally,
man.
I had to because we had to travel far enough to do it. That was punk rock.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's just it. That's the first thing you do is create things that aren't woke but are cool. All right, because that's the thing. The right has always been uptight. Well, what's uptight is statists telling you how to live your life. So what's the antidote to that? Liberty-loving people who are cool and having a good time.
You want to know something crazy? This kind of pisses me off. So most people know I've been skateboarding for several decades, and I know a bunch of pro skateboarders, and they don't want to come. They don't want to come and film segments. They don't want to come and skate the ramp.
Yeah.
They're scared. You know why? Skateboarding is mainstream culture.
Yeah.
It is corporate, and it is, while not the biggest industry in the world, and not the wealthiest, and not the most mainstream, they're in the Olympics, baby. They got big brand sponsors. They do big multi-million-dollar events. So I'm talking to this guy, and they're like, man, I love your show. I love what you do. And I was like, you want to come film a segment? They're like, dude, we can't get a target on us. I get the other action sports, I guess you call it. We have one dude who was like, I'm a BMX rider. I want to come and film a segment. I'm like, okay, looks like we're gonna do BMX. This guy made this YouTube video. I want to come and do some tail whips in your park. And I'm like, let's make it happen. Now we're gonna put up videos on the website. These ones will be free, and we'll share. Like, here's a dude. What I want to do with the space we have, because we have something we call the grind bar. We set up the skate park in the garage. It's big, and you can actually ollie up onto a ledge and then ollie onto the bar. Which jump up onto. Okay, I should just say jump because it could be any sport. But you can grind across the bar itself. So we're gonna film these challenges, and we're gonna have fun and be punk rock and play music. And I gotta say, it's hard to get the skateboarders to do it because their sponsors are big mainstream corporations. Okay. The smaller, less popular action sports. No offense to inline skaters or to BMXers, they don't got nearly as many followers or big sponsors. So they're like, dude, I'm totally down.
When I was young, I used to I chased the people that had already made it because I was like, if I can get those people to join me, then it's going to be big. And then I realized, nah, man, I'm just going to make it. And all the people that want to make it with me are going to be the people that in the future have made it.
Yeah. Build our culture, and don't rely on other people to do it because you can't. You can rely on them trying to kill it. So assume that you have a target on you already and build mechanisms to get your message out and get your entertainment out and get your views out that they can't take away from you, like your own website.
That's the other thing, too.
I hope it's hosted on a boat somewhere in the North Atlantic so that Amazon can't shut you down.
Well, so that's the other thing, too, is we're talking about creating this open source project to create a subscription-based service that anyone could have on their own website.
Yes.
Beautiful.
People contact me on Twitter, direct message, if you want to get involved with that. It's very cool. We're setting up a chat room right now through the Matrix protocol.
It's going to be an open source project.
Yeah.
And so the idea is you got a website. Mm-hmm. All you got to do is install this simple open source package, and then people can become members to your site, but all the sites network with each other. So basically, we create a decentralized network of independent websites.
That's exactly how the Soviet Union went down. They just did it with paper. Salmon.com, right? That was people passing information back amongst themselves underneath the web of the statist masters.
Yep.
Now, the other thing you talked about, the long war is education. All right, we're dead unless we have an alternative way to make sure our kids don't get taught that America's evil, that freedom is bad, and that they have to believe the woke Bible. So you got to work on that, and that's a long-term project. That's a generational war. They've been at it for several generations. That's why we've got the problems we do. So you got to do that. You got to stand up for free speech. All right. So you got to do three things. You got to get the education, your free speech, and you have to have popular culture, right? Which are the things they took away from us.
I used to think internet video alone would be enough to educate people, that the information's there, so they will find it. But now I'm finding it's guided. People are guided towards, especially with social media algorithms, people are being guided towards specific types of information.
And yet you can set up your own.
For schools, though, I do wonder how many of these kids in schools are hearing their teacher say, you want to be a woke anti-racist. And these students are going, wow, I want to be just like teacher. I can't imagine there's a lot of kids who are like that.
That's the other thing
9%.
People are not paying attention to is it's the pendulum swings back and forth, that you rebel against authority. Who's the authority now? The statist authoritarians.
Right.
What do kids hate more than anything? Being told what they have to do. Right. So we're going to see that. That's what we need to take advantage of. That's available. What's past Gen Z?
Millennial?
Gen double Z?
Gen ZZ? I don't know. Hey, incidentally, I'm staking a claim.
Gen A1?
I am the lead dog of Gen X. All right.
Oh, nice.
The people claim it's 1965. It's October 1964 because I am the first member of Gen X, and my crew's in power now. And we invented all the sports that are now lame. All the skydiving and skateboard flips
that are
and
now
crazy
lame?
stuff that are now lamely corporate.
Oh,
the sports aren't lame.
No,
but the corporatism of them is. But we invented that because we rebelled against that.
I was thinking about how crazy this is, though, because I was listening to Tony Hawk talk about being a skateboarder and how hard it was. In the 80s, you were a loser. Yeah. You were weirdos doing this thing.
Nobody you're supposed to play football or basketball or baseball because those were the cool sports.
Now it's the Olympics. Mm-hmm. Now it's Red Bull and these big corporations.
Yep.
Even a lot of snowboarding too. It's surprising to me how boring it's become. For real.
Because it's not dangerous anymore because it's become corporatized.
Yeah.
All right? And that's good. And now that those people are scared, let's pick other ones. Pick a new sport. There's some crazy thing. Pick airsoft. I saw your guns in the basement, your airsoft.
Airsoft,
stuff.
yeah. I thought it was interesting because there are some pros who are like, some people will always complain about the changing culture of everything. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of people who say skateboarding was better back in the day. And, to them, I would say it just changed. And for kids who are growing up in today are going to be very happy with skateboarding. And that's true. I'm just talking about towing the line. I'm talking about pros who used to be like, I'm going to go skate this bank where you can get arrested for being on private property. Now it's a lot of park. Now you've got like the Olympics are coming up. And so there's this big competition. Anyone in the United States apparently can enter by submitting a 45-second run it doesn't have to be in a park, but it needs to incorporate park terrain. Basically, this means everyone's going to be in a skate park skating, whereas skateboarding for the longest time was being out in the streets and conquering terrain, urban terrain. It was almost urban exploration in a sense.
Yeah.
But that was vandalism. It was punk rock. You were going out. You were telling the security guards to F off. I'm not a fan of that, by the way. You're supposed to leave and then come back later. You don't fight with people because people get hurt. But you'd like put wax on a ledge in front of a building. Long term, it would scuff it up and discolor it. But they didn't care. It wasn't your property. They didn't care. It was punk rock. It was edgy. It was disrespectful in a lot of ways. There's still a bit of that street skating culture, but it's become very corporate. And it's like, yeah, it's not really interesting to be another cog in the giant machine. I think it's time to create new ideas, new cultures, new concepts. Maybe airsoft is the thing we should be filming a lot of.
Video gaming is one that used to be so nerdy and uncool. Yeah. Like in the 80s, they called me Nintendo Crossland in elementary school, and I was like the dork. But like now people are multi-millionaire superstars, gaming, giant. It's one of the biggest industries in the world, and I think it's just going to get cooler. And then it has kind of been corporatized. Amazon owns Twitch and is kind of dictating what people can say. But man, there is some punk rock. If you watch gamers stream, the things they will say, like if you want to tap into the child's psyche,
anti-authoritarians. Twitch sent me an email because I've got an account everywhere because I have to, and they literally said, "This is the new things we're going to deplatform people that happen off Twitch."
Yep,
I got that too.
I'm
social credit score,
dude. Exactly, and that's where these people will rebel. So we have the ability to go ahead and appeal to people who don't like to be told what to do, which is basic libertarianism. It's not a governing philosophy, but it's a personal philosophy. And you can tell those people, if you want to be left alone to enjoy your life, you should be hanging out with us. Because if you hang out with the woke crew, though, you can't ever get the rules right. What rules? How are you ever going to follow all the rules of wokeness because they change every time someone else pops up?
And
with
when
a
one of the
grievance?
rules is we can ban you at any time for no
Exactly.
reason, literally for no reason at any time, who wants to play with that game? That's ridiculous.
Garbage. Go look for my Twitter feed, and I'm not there because I say things that they don't like, and I kick their butts. And that's pathetic. So let's appeal to the people who don't like that. And here's the nice thing: the woke people are helping us because look at what's happening with blacks and Latinos from the last election. All right, people talk about we got killed in the election. We picked up 12 House seats for the Republicans and more black and Latino votes than ever before.
For Trump, of all people. They said he was a racist.
Exactly. And now why is that? It's because they watched those riots and everything last year, and those are working class people who have jobs. They lost their jobs because of COVID when the Democrats locked them down, and the businesses were burnt down by BLM and Antifa, and that made them mad. And they're like, where are the police? Why aren't the police coming to help me? Right? I thought they were the good guys. They're like, no, defund the police. The police are evil. You hate the police. Like, I don't hate the police. I hate criminals. I hate gangs.
I got to pull up this chart. I love pulling this chart up.
Oh, yeah.
Before the George Floyd riots, Black Lives Matter enjoyed 17% net support in this country. After the George Floyd incident, it spiked 23% net support. Mm-hmm. Something then happened. Do you know what happened? Right after the spark of the George Floyd story, what happened in this country? What did people start
COVID?
doing? No. What was the direct response to the death of George Floyd among the left?
Bought guns.
No, riots.
Yeah, okay.
They started going around burning cities.
And then everyone else bought guns.
Down the house.
The net support then dropped to 7%. Currently today, net support for Black Lives Matter is at 6%. A year out.
You get what you give.
It is almost.
Wow.
It is 40%, I believe. Let's see. Let's go back to the beginning of last year. It was at around 9. It was 9%. So it's down between 20 to 35% net support.
This made me feel good, man. That's wonderful news because they're a recruiter for our team. They're a recruiter for the team that likes freedom and liberty, not a bunch of angry racists telling us that the rest of us are racist. Don't project onto me and tell me how to live my life. Beautiful. I'll make sure to help.
Yeah, like don't
put
mess
that
with your
around.
enemy while they're making a mistake.
Exactly. Yeah. And they're going to do it again.
I kind of feel for this Black Lives Matter movement in a way because I feel like Antifa got their tentacles all wrapped up in it and did a lot of violence. Just like angry, violent anarchists just kind of used that movement and got involved in a way that wasn't the intention from the beginning of that movement.
I was there at some of the first Black Lives Matter protests. It was always the same people. Antifa, for the most part, is just the flag. They use it's far leftists of various persuasions who wear all black and go around engaging in violence. And before we called them Antifa, we just called them the Black Bloc. Right. It was a reference to the same leftist protesters, activists, extremists we've always known. And when I was in New York at the Trayvon Martin protest, they were there as well. The same people now fly the Antifa flag. Same people.
And then at the Black Lives Matter protests, no matter how well-intentioned some of them may be, you've always got the young, angry crowd that wants to break stuff. And so those two groups would meld together. And
Absolutely.
they create like the ball of ugliness. And somebody would break a window and then it's gone from there. But the bad part is, and I think the good thing for us, is that they now have busted their brand. Their brand is violence. Now it's working in intimidating local leaders, but it's not working in gaining public support. It's pushing normals toward us, the working class, normal people. Now, I think that's an interesting coalition I just outlined. We've got the punk rock radical cool kids now hanging out with the normal working class folks. But we're all the ones who say, we know how to live our lives. You don't tell us how to live our lives. And we'll take care of business.
I love cryptocurrency because it's so punk rock. And like internet developers, so punk rock. Like they are building the future.
Cool. I'm in.
Yeah, no guarantees, but it's a big reason why a lot of anarchists bought into Bitcoin very early on.
Oh, yeah.
Not lefty anarchists because they don't believe in money, I guess.
Oh.
But all the right anarchists got super rich. They were
Yeah,
like,
and now
you
they have
mean
a
it's
lot of
money the
power.
government doesn't know about? I'll buy it all.
Smart. And then they went ahead and created a new way to do business, which we're allowed to do. And again, to your point of let's create shows and let's do other things and new sports and other things that popularize what we're doing from our side. And guess what? We are going to be much more entertaining and inviting than the other side. Because
Yep.
you can tell they're angry.
Because we have
And
humor.
they're unpleasant.
We can tell jokes.
Yes.
We mock people. And it's fun.
But
And
it's like insulting and disparaging people for the sake of being mean is not fun. But playfully ribbing at each other over, stereotypes and other dumb ideas is fun. It's fun and funny because we're all part of the same jokes. We're all being made fun of. We're all on a level playing field with each other.
So could we have stand-up comedy back then? Could we literally, because they've killed that, doing for all intents and purposes. Ryan Long, though,
he's amazing.
He's nailing it, but what's he doing? He's mocking woke culture. He's found the magic bullet.
But he's got these videos he makes often do most of the time. But he also has a stand-up routine. He has a bunch of other jokes. I think he recently did a joke about the NSA, watching dudes whack off. Like, it's not making fun of the woke. He's just a funny guy.
He's a funny dude,
and he makes fun of the woke, and it's funny too. And
that's the nice thing is when you can mock your enemy, you hurt them more than you ever can with any kind of violence or anger or anything else.
Yep.
You delegitimize them because you don't take them seriously. And they're so good. They mock themselves. You can't hardly caricature. Yeah. He does, and he does it well, but that's just it. They are so absurd and there's so much ammo there that if more people take that up, guess what? Now we need a daily show from the right. Yeah. Looking at the Biden administration. You got Crowder while we
every morning.
Yeah.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.